Dia continues to play diverse and multifaceted roles as a climate champion, the founder of One India Stories, an actor as well as a producer. Whether she's portraying a resilient protagonist or a nuanced supporting character, Dia consistently captivates the audience with her talent and grace. So ladies and gentlemen, Divano or Mehrbano, in the loudest human capacities, please give it up for Vijay Verma, Dia Mirza and Anubhav Sinha.
Good afternoon everyone, my name is Radha, I am an OG Conclave this year. So I will be moderating this last session of Conclave and also probably the most awaited session on day one. So again, let's just give it up for the team of IC 814. So I'll be starting with Anubhav sir. How did you approach narrating the true events of the 1999 hijacking in IC-814, and what were some of the key considerations in portraying the events inside the plane, the operations in Delhi and also the negotiations in Kandahar?
Okay, we are talking about 20 minutes now. No, so, whenever you try to do a piece on real life event, so there is an obvious source material which is now available on internet, and then you try and meet people who are involved with it. So I did both, but this particular event was also about a lot of material that would never be available for public consumption, like the negotiation. The negotiation has no record. Who were the people who hijacked the plane? Why? Who were the people backing them, facilitating them? Why did we go to Kandahar and not Kabul and not Lahore or Amritsar or wherever? We landed in Amritsar, but we could have gone to any other place. No? Why did the hijack happen from Kathmandu? Nobody will ever know. Those are the areas I was very interested in finding out, and that led me to a lot of journalists from the time who were on the ground at that time in Nepal, in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, and then all of that put together became a riddle, and that riddle is the, about this event, most people think they know everything about it. But I think they know nothing about it. I mean, that's who I was. When I entered, I thought I knew. But it opened up so many chapters for me that if I had not done this, I would never have known. And that's what this show does. It puts all of it together and tells the entire story in a very, it's a thriller. And it's a thriller with its tentacles spread out almost all over the world.
That's great. We can't wait to see the new perspectives that you bring on screen. Now, question for Vijay sir and Dia ma'am. How did you prepare for your role, given that the series is based on a real-life hijacking incident? And what were some of the challenges that you faced in bringing these true-to-life characters on the screen?
Hi everyone. So good to be back here at Xavier's. It's been a while. It's a question that I actually got thinking about today when I realized we were going to be doing this interaction, because when I work with Anubhav Sinha, the writing makes it so possible to just become. And I think that the biggest to a character is the lines that a character is speaking and the staging of a scene. Anubhav is always so clear, and his idea is so distinct about how he wants to approach it, what he wants to do with it. And I think he also is very casual about the way he expresses himself when there is just so much gravitas and depth to what he does, because every line, every word is so thought through and so nuanced and exists for a damn good reason. So, you know, even on set, if you just want to improvise and add a line or say something, there's a full process. You sit down and he thinks about it. It's a set pack of cards. He's thought about 100 permutation combinations before he's written a line. So the part that I play is of a woman who is the editor of a newspaper and who's also just started to run a television news channel. Now this is a time where news was opening up. It was at the cusp of news cycles becoming 24-hour cycles. I mean, like literally widely out. I think the research or the kind of time that one had to spend to just understand the era was what was the workspace like for women? How difficult and challenging was it for women to even make it to that position? And therefore, what would her journey have been to get? But the reality of the events, the moment-to-moment stress and pressure of delivering truthful news or deciding not to deliver certain news because it would impact the investigation or impact the entire situation because real people were being held hostage. All of that plays out in the way the lines are. But I think what the prep part was, I was curious to know how many women editors existed in the country at the time.
There were
Very few. They still are very few. It was also very interesting to speak to people who were journalists at that time and just get a sense from them what it was like. So one of my favorite anecdotes is of a young news anchor. She was 9 months pregnant and the channel basically called her at 4 in the morning and said, we need you here in the studio at 5 to say the news. And heavily pregnant, she was driving herself in the fog of December and she got herself to the studio. And those minutes or hours getting to the studio from home weren't easy for her. And I think just the description of that moment conveys so much that some has changed and a lot hasn't, even now.
I'm so glad that you're portraying women in journalism at a time where, you know, there weren't probably those many journalists and that we get to see them on screen and the challenges that we faced to reach the point where we are today as women in journalism. So your answer to my question.
Hi Malhar. It's my first time here at St. Xavier's College. It's something I've only seen in the movies and in the newspapers. Very glad to be here. मैंने कुछ किया है लाइफ में कि मैं यहाँ पर हूँ. And I'm glad all of you all are here and getting the best education. Can everybody hear me though? हाँ, तो ये कहानी 1999 की है. 25th December 1999. I was 15. So I was getting ready for my Y2K party, one of the first parties in my life, and when this event happened, I don't think any of you are well around. I think you're all like early 20s in the house here? Early 20, late 20?
Early 20s, all undergraduate students.
How many of you know what Y2K means? Okay, Y2K was a big thing back in the day. So this is the time when mobile phones were just making an entry. 24/7 news channels just emerged. We're talking about in India that started changing so drastically around that time. So here is a story where a plane got hijacked in Kathmandu. It flew from Kathmandu, it had to go to Delhi. It got hijacked on the way. And eventually it landed in Kandahar, which was then run by Taliban. And it stayed there for 7 days, which is the longest hijack in Indian aviation history. No plane has ever been hijacked after that event, because our securities went up, our intelligence went up, everything is taken care of right now. How we fly is not how we flew 20-25 years ago. So this was a very important event that happened and that shaped the way Indian aviation works, the way we tackle terrorism. So And I play the captain who was on that flight, who was the pilot of the flight. He's a real life character. I get to play a real life person for the first time, and I got the account of the ordeal from him directly, so that helped me prepare for the character. But it is a show. The trailer will come out soon. You'll get to see a little glimpse of it, and the show drops on the 29th. You'll get a lot many answers from that. Thank you so much.
I actually had a my follow-up question for you was actually if you got the chance to meet the real captain of IC814 and how, what were your feelings when you met him first?
So yeah, I got to meet Captain Devi Sharan, who was a pilot with Indian Airlines. Indian Airlines was an airline that flew. It doesn't fly anymore. That brand is not existing anymore. But I met him, and I actually went to the flight simulation classes with him. So I got a first-hand account of. There were some difficult places that he struggled with his flight because he was constantly running out of fuel, and those terrorists had him at gunpoint most of the time of his flight, and he had to take some tough calls in the midst of all that crisis. And there were some very close narrow escapes and some life-saving moments as well. So I got an account of all of it from him, and I was in awe when I met him. This man saved the aircraft himself, the crew, the passengers, and brought everybody back except for one person who we lost. So yeah, usually my characters are all created from imagination. They don't exist in real, but they're all based on real life, one way or the other. But here I'm playing an unsung hero, so I had to do an honest job with it, and because I know he's going to watch it, and his family is going to watch it, and the survivors of the plane are going to watch it. So we had a lot at stake.
That's great. The insights that both of you gave, it just gets us even more excited to watch the show. Coming back to Anubhav sir, how did you select the cast for IC814 and what was your vision for their portrayals of these characters?
So, hello. There are too many characters and hence actors in this show. If I start telling you every story about how I cast each one of them, it will be a very long one, but So, Vijay, when he came today, I got to know that apparently I was dissuading him from doing that. He acts it out well, we'll ask him to do that. But the eventual cast of the series is something that a director, any director, would want to wake up to. That maybe I dreamt of it or maybe I have it. I mean, the kind of ensemble that it is, the kind of actors, the quality of actors and stars, it is outstanding. It's, I don't know if I will forget names, so I'm not, there are so many names that I may forget, so that's the risk I'm running.
Okay.
Like
the cast is such, I'm sure some faculties are around which will not enjoy my next statement. If you take a shot at the name that you like in a cast, you will be very drunk in because we have Nasiruddin Shah, we have Pankaj Kapoor, we have Arvind Swamy, we have Divyendu Sharma, we have Divyendu Bhattacharya, we have Manoj Pawar, Kumud Mishra, Diya Mirza, Amruta Hari, we have Aditya Srivastava, we have Kawaljeet Singh, we have Rajiv Thakur. We are definitely forgetting names because it's a power pack, it's a World 11, it's an India 11 team. Yeah. This is a cast in which back in the day when WWF was a real thing, this cast would be called the Royal Rumble.
So forget the names, but it's and I'm not saying so because we have made it. It is a sight to behold such wonderful artists doing their jobs in every frame.
I just want to add something to this. When I used to see a lot of international work, Ocean's 11, just like these big franchise films, or even like the smaller films that would have like this incredible power-packed ensemble cast, and I would say, ये India में कब होगा यार? When will we offer ourselves to parts in stories that we really belong in, as opposed to aspiring for things that, anyway, whatever that is. And I think this is going to be such a clutter breaker in that sense, because I don't think this has ever happened before. And I hope it happens several more times, because it's really special.
Okay, so Vijay sir and Diyam, coming back to you, what attracted you to Project IC814 and motivated you to take on the respective roles that you have?
I think I answered that. That cast is unbeatable. This director, I've particularly enjoyed the work that he's brought. I loved Article 15. Have you guys seen Article 15? Mulk, Article 15, Thappad, some path-breaking stuff. Huh?
I was just going to say Ravan.
Hello, the OG.
I go back a very long way with this man. I've known him for only 24 years. He was a child when I started working with him. He was 5. And, I think he's just one of the filmmakers who I have so much respect for and love for. But I also knew that with this show, he had an opportunity to really do something that he's never done before. So the integrity in the writing, of course, and the fact that he was retelling a true story, but to make it the way he has, only he could have. Because the kind of technical knowledge he has, very few people have it. And it's all just come together exceptionally well. And he's just a pleasure to work with. He's great fun. He makes a lot of fun of me. He tries to intimidate me, but he feeds me well. He feeds me good food. And he's never disrespected my intelligence. And I think as a woman artist, that matters most to me.
That was just an impression I gave.
No,
It's
but
not
it's
true.
true. It's absolutely true. It's just such a privilege working with him. I want to be in all his work. I always say this. After Thappad, I said I want to be a fan or a chair or a table. Just make me a part of your stories, no matter which one you're telling. It will be my privilege to be a part of it.
I think all of us would want to be a part of Anubhav sir's films, like you said, in any way possible. Yes, everyone know. Guys, would you want to be a part of Anubhav sir's film? Okay, so since the moment the three of you entered on stage, I saw great camaraderie between the three of you. So I want to ask you, were there any fun experiences that you had on set, any pranks on set that you all did?
Can I just, before we speak, say something?
Yeah,
This guy has been in one space for his entire shoot. It was my dream to work with Vijay. So on paper, yeah, we're a part of the same story, but I never saw him at work. And I have to find a way to make sure I get to work with him because I'm such a huge fan. And बाकी ये सुनाएंगे आपको इनको कितना मजा आया कॉकपिट में.
So I was locked up in one 6 feet by 6 feet space, and there was all green screen around me. And my co-actors were my seatbelt, my landing gear, my tools, and my co-pilot and my flight assistant, flight engineer. And I would barely get to see Anubhav sir because he would find a way to just show up in front of me and tell me to do what I'm supposed to do, and then disappear, and then I'm all alone looking at a green screen and pretending that I'm. And I would keep asking him, अभी मैं कहाँ पर हूँ? अमृतसर में हूँ या लाहौर में हूँ? नहीं नहीं अभी तुम काठमांडू में हो. अच्छा अभी कहाँ पर हूँ? अभी दिल्ली में हो या नहीं अभी तुम कांधार पहुँच गए हो. So I have no idea what day it is, what time it is. So it was a bit of an experience for me. I had to use every bit of my imagination to put myself on a flight at 30,000 feet and imagine what it would be like. Although it's an elaborate cast, I didn't get to hang out or do any scenes with any of them, which is a deep, deep pain that I carry in my heart. Just like I wish I had a chance to.
But I went to set just to watch all of them in the room. I mean, who would give up the opportunity to see Pankaj Kapoor, Naseeruddin Shah, Manoj Bawa, all these people, Kumar Mishra in one room, and I was like, unbelievable.
But I was given to
Who invited you? Did you come?
I was given to Vijay because an actor sitting in a chair through the entire course of the shoot, you needed immense amount of belief and trust to do what you're doing. Because every morning you would come, wear the same uniform, go to the same chair and do, it might feel, do similar stuff, but you know, that tells me that if you really believe in the work that you're doing, no matter how mundane the ongoing is, you know the results will be great, and that's how he shows up at the end of the show.
Thank you so much. This is the first compliment I've received from my director. Very special for me.
Okay, Anubhav sir, so my next question for you. What were the challenges in balancing the factual accuracy of the hijacking with the dramatic elements necessary for compelling storytelling?
Listen, if you want to ask something outside this, you can. Huh?
No, I will. I have a few questions in mind.
Okay.
So you know when you recreate a historical, let's talk about Titanic. So when James Cameron decides to make Titanic, there are certain facts. This happened, this happened, this happened, and then it sank. But what goes on the ship, what goes outside of the ship, then there is a lot of stories that can be woven in. So if you look at those historical facts as milestones, and then between those milestones, you fit in interesting people and relationships and situations and moments. But I have a feeling when you watch the series, you will know these are the facts because they are presented like facts. So there is a precarious balance. I mean, the question is very valid and necessary because it's not history, but a lot of facts exist within that story, and you will see them as facts.
Okay, so since you all told us that you did not get to meet each other on set very often, what were a few first impressions that you had of each other? Ma'am, you said you've been working with Anubhav sir for so long. So what were a few first impressions that you had of each other?
My first impression of Dia is, I think she, and I'm not saying it because you're here or whatever, this is something that I've told my closest people as well. She's possibly the most helpful, giving, loving person that I've met. Like, I remember I was in Kyrgyzstan, I was shooting for something, and I just posted a story that I'm in Kyrgyzstan. She reached out to me and she said, you have to go and check out the snow leopard sanctuary there, whatever. I said, great. In 2 minutes, she sent me the number of the person I can contact. She's already told that person that I'm going to contact her. That person is already waiting for my call. She's organized the whole deal for me. I went and I roamed around for a day with those really nice people. And I come back and then I'm visiting another incident. I'm sitting in an award function and she comes and sits next to me. And very peacefully and very lovingly she said, I'm going to send you a homeopathic doctor's number. You can get I have a vitiligo, I have like skin condition. You can just go and see him. And just like, send me the number. So just like, she doesn't, she has a lot of love. Like,
She's a born social worker.
Yeah. It just feels very like, ऐसे इतने अच्छे लोग हैं.
She's so sweet कि लगता है झूठ बोल रही है.
पर ये हैदराबाद से है, मैं भी हैदराबाद से है, तो हम लोग वहाँ निकल हैदराबाद में भी बात कर लेते थोड़ा.
I've already said that thank you Vijay, that is very sweet of you. But when I first came to the industry, I didn't know anybody. And I remember how alienating that can be, that feeling of not being able to call people your own. And I think over the years, it's just been so wonderful to discover Apne Kaun Hai, you know. And he is somebody I've just From the moment I saw him on screen the first time, I always felt so much love and respect for him and admiration for him. And with every passing year, that love has only grown. And he's a fellow Hyderabadi, so there's a special, soft spot for him. तो हम वहाँ जब मिलते हैं हैदराबादी में बातें कर रहे थे, आप लोगों को हैदराबादी आती?
नहीं आती तो हैदराबादी नहीं आती तो जाके शी देखो नेटफ्लिक्स पे।
हाँ, जाके देखो, नहीं तो हम लोग को बुला लो, हम यहाँ बैठ के तुम लोगों को एंटरटेन कर लेते हैं। तो but yeah, it's just nice to have that. And also I think when somebody is approachable, only can you approach them. And I will not lose any opportunity to get my colleagues to go into the wild. So I've been trying to get him to come to the wild. It's not happening. He says he may just intimidate the lions or the tigers too much.
I have an ego problem with lions. They don't come to see me. Why should I go see them? That's a problem I have. Or even when you go look at them, they don't look at you. You feel ignored. So why would you do that?
My first impression of Anubhav Sinha, when I had met him for Thappad, that didn't happen, but when I met Anubhav sir for IC 814, he made me sit down and he's like, मैं ये बना रहा हूँ, उसमें कुछ 12-13 एक्टर्स हैं, नसीरुद्दीन शाह, पंकज कपूर, मनोज पापा, दिया मिर्जा, ये सब है। तो उसमें एक रोल है पायलट का, कह सकते हैं कि कह भी सकते हैं, नहीं भी कह सकते हैं, लेकिन शायद हीरो है या नहीं है, पता नहीं क्या है, कुछ तो शायद अच्छा है, हाँ बट बड़ा, शायद बड़ा, नहीं शायद बड़ा। ऐसे सर आप लोग आप चाहते हो कि मैं करूँ या नहीं करूँ? आप मुझे पिच कर रहे हो या मुझे बोल रहे हो कि मत करो ये? इसे नहीं, मैं चाहता हूँ कि तुम करो, मैं ऐसा कर रहा हूँ।
I didn't know this part of the story. I got to know today.
And then he said, I don't want to promise more. I want to promise less and deliver more.
Can I share something about it? So I've known him for 24 years, as I said earlier. And the one consistent thing about him over these 24 years has been that he knows his mind. He knows exactly what he's doing. And that's just such a huge attribute to have. Because you need that kind of a, leader. And I think with years and with experience, sometimes he may come off as like standoffish, maybe even rude, but he's the warmest, kindest, most ethical and honest person I've worked with.
But this I learned very early in life, and I must share this with you, and I keep telling my younger ones. It is so important to be able to articulate what you want. Because most people, they want to be successful, or they want to be a nice person, or they want to be the best dressed person, or whatever they want to be. But can you really put it in words exactly what you want to be? Because then your effort is so much more streamlined and focused that you may just get there. But a lot of times we don't articulate it for ourselves. This is what I try to do when like when we were making this show. So my DOP, who's Ewan Mulligan, who's a man from England, he asked me, Anubhav, are we recreating the show, the scene, or what? How are we shooting it? I said, no, it's happening again. We are sending our camera and crew there. So now that decides how the show will look like. And then things become simple. So when you say, I know what I want, but I try to articulate it. And that's an exercise sometimes.
And effectively.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so one last question for the three of you. Since we're in a college setting and in the midst of a huge college fest, would you like to share some experiences that you had in college, probably some fest that you attended, and all the fun experiences that you had in college?
I mean, I'm a Marwadi from Hyderabad. And
What does that mean?
means Marwadis, family, we don't really believe in education, so I didn't really go to college. I mean, I got enrolled, but I never made it to the college. I was more busy playing video games and playing snooker and other activities. So, but all I wanted was to do theatre. I think my education was happening in theatre. I joined the theatre group, and that was my life of a student. I experienced being a student, all of it through theatre. And then I went to FKI where I lived in the hostel, so I had checked off that also, living in the hostel. I always wanted to go to the college and live in a hostel. That happened.
You studied acting?
I studied acting at the Film and Television Institute of India, which is Pune, which is the best film institute in Asia, the oldest, just like our Xavier's. So yeah, that was my education, and I pursued exactly the course that I wanted. I was able to articulate what I wanted to do in my life.
I was a mechanical engineer. I also worked as one for a year. So, we come from the time when you wouldn't decide what you will become. Your parents will tell you what you will become. And then you work towards it. So my father wanted me to be a doctor or an engineer, and I was very scared of blood, I still am. So I said, okay, then I'll become an engineer. So that was the reason why I became an engineer. And then I passed out my engineering and whatever happened, and then I came here. But during engineering, I was studying and I was a reasonable student. I was a good con artist. I could get my way around and get good marks. But I was engaged in this, what you guys are doing, a lot. So my attendance used to be short every year. And every year the university will let go of you. Okay, up here they give you some grace percentage. But in the final year, there was this vice chancellor who got really upset. So he said, no, you are detained. You can't appear for the exams. So then all of us, we went to the High Court. And we got a stay. And then we appeared for the exam. And then the VC was so upset that he went to the Supreme Court. And there, the Supreme Court gave a fantastic judgment. So he asked the university lawyer, did these guys, were they cheating? Did you catch them cheat? So he said, no, there's no such report. He said, okay, so the exams that they have taken is valid. So you declare their results. But, students, you will have to complete your attendance in the next session. So that was the most wonderful year of my student life, because now we had passed very good marks, but we had to go to college just to get the attendance. So within 2 or 3 weeks, the teachers realized that these guys are not here to study. So he said, okay, you will show up once a week, and I'll give you the attendance for the whole week, and then you go. And that year is a dream year that any student can have, but you might not want to have it. But this is a good tip that I'm giving you all. If you want to have that great year in your student life, in hindsight, it's not too bad. But then it was.
I can't read these stories.
Sorry, not the role model that you were looking for.
No, I always tell my family and their kids that don't talk to me about career because I'll ruin you. So they don't allow their kids to talk to me. So I'm the last person you should listen to as far as career is concerned.
I envy you guys so much because it was my dream to be in college and I never got the chance. I started working full time at the age of 16. And I left home and I started living in Mumbai, working, running my house, cooking my food, paying my bills, doing my own accounts. It was terrifying, but I think one thing that kept me going was the fact that I never stopped learning. I always wanted to know more so that I could be better and do better. So I read a lot, I continue to. And there was a time when I used to consider myself the black sheep of the family because everyone was very academic, my aunts and my uncles and my cousins, all like double gold medalists and lawyers and doctors, and I was like one unpad who would become an actor. So thankfully I think I seem to have redeemed myself in stature because of some of the work I do outside of film. And in the last decade or so, people are saying, okay, even what she's doing in film is interesting. So, beginning to redeem myself.
I have to tell one story about her, about this series. So every time I cast her, she looks very pretty. Unfortunately, she is pretty.
What is your problem with my beauty?
So I said in this show, Dia, we will not allow you to look pretty. So I called her hair designer and all. I said, just pull it out, tear her hair out and all, and give her some glasses, and tried my best to de-glamorize her, but she is still looking good.
So unfortunately, due to the time crunch, we have to end this session. So thank you to the three of you for being here. And guys, reminder, 29th August 2024, IC814 on Netflix.
Thank you so much. Thank you for hearing us.
Excuse me, brother.
On behalf of the entire Malhar body, as well as the Conclave department in particular, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the entire Netflix team, in particular Anubhav Sinha sir, Vijay Verma sir and Dia Mirza ma'am, for gracing our stage with your presence. I'm sure Netflix IC814, the Kandahar hijack, will be another feather in your caps, and wish you our best for the launch of the show. I would also like to use this opportunity to thank our principal, Mr. Rajendra Shinde, Malhar staff convener Ashma ma'am, the entire staff committee, as well as the multitude of other departments involved in making day one of Conclave